Hello, and welcome. Hi, it's me, Barnum Smith, Land the Forbidden Library, / VR chat, / on a horse. How was everyone? It's Sunday, it's reading day. Welcome everyone, welcome One Size Phantom, welcome X-Nam, welcome 100 American Bison, welcome Dread Excalibur, welcome Nimby, welcome. I did want to find a new VR room. I also wanted to find a new VR top, because as you can see, my stomach glitches out. You can see my tummy. I don't like it. But I haven't managed to go shopping. Today, we did stuff in the morning, then I had a nap, and then my day disappeared. So, and then suddenly it was dinner and streaming time. God damn it, Nana naps. Hello, Jennifer Roach, welcome. It's the bravest knight in all the land, Brady Roadsmith, the brought home mightiest steed. Rocinante. I remembered how to say it. I've been saying it to myself all week so that I don't forget how to say it. Rocinante. Hello. Brian has a tummy since look, it's a tummy. It exists, and I hate it. I want to cover it up. I need to get a new outfit with pants so that I can sit on it. I'm thinking of editing maybe some of the other outfits I've got and adding like tights or leggings underneath. And then that way I can still wear the cute dresses, but I can be on a horse. That's the plan. That's the hope. That's the dream. Or I just scour Booth for more outfits, because who doesn't love outfits, right? I like outfits. Outfits are fun. I like dressing up. Especially digitally. It's the best. Anyway. So what happened last time? Don Quixote's an insane man who was like, hey, I'ma be a knight. Screw reality. I'ma be a knight. Found some really old armor, an anemic horse, and went out on an adventure in which he got knighted by an innkeeper who just kind of went along with it, murdered some of the innkeeper's staff, so the innkeeper kind of was just like, go on your adventure, or just wear a Black Widow style leather bodysuit. That is an option, to be fair. To be fair, my armor might work as well, the shiny gold armor I wore like once. But that's very fancy. We can't be wearing the gold armor every week. Then it'd be less special, wouldn't it? So you gotta. There's time and place for outfits. Time and place. I suggest naming Bryony's steed Madarante, a name after its own nature. Is that what you call a rocking horse? Let me Google Translate that. Google Translate Madarante. Timber! Yes! This is Madarante, my horse. Beautiful. Wood and before in the same way as Rocinante. Which, yeah, you said it was just like basically his horse named Horse. Or horse meat or something, wasn't it, you said? Oh, Baldarante. No, I'm not bold. And my horse isn't, well, my horse is kind of bold, actually. He's doing his best, okay? He's a little bold, but we love him anyway. And then he went home because the innkeeper was like, knights have money, what do you want about? So he went home to try to get money, but then he came across a cry of distress on the way home, which was a guy punishing his employee / servant / slave ? And tried to get him to, be nicer, but then as soon as he turned his back, he was mean again, because obviously, and now he's sent the tender child he was lashing to go find his savior, to prove that he would do it. Former workhorse, that was it. Rocinante, former workhorse. Now a knightly steed. Oh. So much fun. What more shenanigans? We're only 6% in. What more shenanigans will this man get up to? Because he now came to a road branching in 4 directions, and ultimately he was reminded of those crossroads where knight-errants used to stop to consider which road they should take. In imitation of them, he halted for a while, and after having deeply considered it, he gave Rocinante his head, submitting his own will to that of his hack, who followed out his first intention, which was to make straight for his own stable. After he had gone about 2 miles, Don Quixote perceived a large party of people, who, as afterwards appeared, were some Toledano travellers on their way to buy silk at Murica. Hello, overseer. Back to the horse. Yes, I haven't had a chance to look for another place. For another place where I can ride such a magnificent steed. There is a Pegasus riding simulator thing in VR chat that I considered. But the idea of trying to set up that camera and then maybe like deal with the horse, I need to test it out, but it feels like it's not gonna work. Also, it's far too much of a magical thing for Don Quixote. I feel like the rocking horse is just the right vibe for this book. There were 6 of them coming along under their sunshades, with 4 servants mounted and 3 muleteers on foot. Scarcely had Don Quixote described them when fancy possessed him that this must be some new adventure, and to help him to imitate as far as he could those passages he had read in his book, here seemed to come one made on purpose, which he resolved to attempt. So, with lofty bearing and determination, he fixed himself firmly in the stirrups, and got his lance ready, brought his buckler before his breast, and, balancing himself in the middle of the road, stood waiting the approaching of these knight-errant, for such he now considered them to be. And when they had come near enough to see and hear, he exclaimed with a haughty gesture, "All the world stand, unless all the world confess, that in all the world there is no maiden fairer than La Empress of La Mancha, the peerless Dulcinea del Toboso." Haven't really seen many horse worlds myself outside of the random ones in VCAT. VCAT was fun. The traders halted at the sound of his language, and the sight of the strange figure that uttered it, and from both figure and language at once guessed the craze of their owner. They wished, however, to learn quietly what was the object of this confession that was demanded of them, and one of them, who was rather fond of a joke, and was very sharp-witted, said to him, "Sir Knight, we do not know of this good lady of which you speak. Show her to us, for if she be of such beauty as you suggest, with all our hearts and without any pressure, we will confess the truth that is, on your part, required of us." Shit. Don Quixote's greatest weakness. Someone who can play along. "If I were to show her to you," replied Don Quixote, "what merit would you have in confessing a truth so manifest? The essential point is that without seeing her you must believe, confess, affirm, swear, and defend it, else ye have to do with me in battle, ill-conditioned, arrogant rabble that ye are, and come ye on one by one, as the order of knighthood requires, or all together, as the custom of vile usage of your breed. Here do I bide, and await your relying on the justice of the cause I maintain." Tell me that this one particular woman that you have never met is very pretty, and I will let you pass. I've never heard Gandalf talk like this. Sir Knight. Sir Knight, Sir Knight, Sir Knight, Sir Knight. Sir Knight, replied the trader, I entreat your worship, in the name of this present company of princes, that to save us from charging our consciousnesses with the confession of a thing we have never seen or heard of, and one, moreover, so to the prejudice of the empress and queens of the Aclarian and Estremandura, your worship will be pleased to show us some portrait of this lady, though it be no bigger than a grain of wheat. For by the thread one gets the ball, and in this way we shall be satisfied and easy, and you will be content and pleased. Nay, I believe we are already so far agreed with you, that even though her portrait should show her blind of one eye, and distilling vermilion and sulphur from the other, we would nevertheless, to gratify your worship, say all in her favour that you desire. Get the fuck out of the way! She distills nothing of the kind, vile rabble, said Don Quixote, burning with rage. Nothing of the kind, I say. Only amberries and civet in cotton, nor is she one-eyed or humpbacked, but straighter than a Guadarrama spindle. But ye must pay for the blasphemy ye uttered against beauty like that of my lady. How dare you? This, is this one of the... Is this one as sus as King Arthur's hot and sweaty burly men? This one is a satire of King Arthur's hot and burly men smoting each other, yes. And thrusting at each other, yes. I feel like we're going to get to Don Quixote doing some thrusting right now. And so saying, he charged with levelled lance against the one who had spoken, with such fury and ferociousness that, if luck had not contrived that Rocinante should stumble midway and come down, it would have gone hard with the rash trader. Down went Rocinante, and over went his master, rolling along the ground for some distance. And when he tried to rise, he was unable, so encumbered he was with lance, bucklers, spurs, helmet, and the weight of his old armour. And all the while he was struggling to get up. He kept saying, fly, not cowards and caitiffs. Stay, for not by my fault, but by my horses I am stretched here. I need to see that picture bigger. "'Tis but a scratch!" Find yourself a man who defends your beauty, like Don Quixote. Find yourself who defends the beauty of a woman he's not really ever spoken to. Who doesn't even really exist. Because he's just renamed a farm. It's so silly. So silly. Oh, it's just... Oh no. Oh no. Ah, fine, we're up. No! Why wasn't there a thing to go back? At least I've got my highlighted section, so that should make it a bit easy to find. Don't go to the original VTubers. Kinda! Not incredibly far off, I won't lie. Remind me not to press the enlarge button after this. Yeah, there it is. There it is, there we go. One of the muleteers in attendance, who could not have had much good nature in him, hearing the poor prostrate man blustering in his style, was unable to refrain from giving him an answer on his ribs, and coming up to him, he seized his lance, and having broken it in pieces with one of them, He began to belabor our Don Quixote that, notwithstanding, in spite of his armour, he milled him like a measure of wheat. Hello, Roland, the Great Nine Fixer. It's you, Orlando Furioso. That poem's in this book. Alright, I'll remind you to press it halfway. No, don't. I don't want to press the enlarge button. It makes me go to a place I don't want to go. It makes me go to the end of the book, and then I lose it. His masters called out, not to lay on so hard, and to leave him alone. But the muleteer's blood was up, and he did not care to drop the game until he had vented the rest of his wrath. And gathering up the remaining fragments of the lance, he finished with a discharge upon the unhappy victim, who, all through the storm of sticks that rained on him, never ceased threatening heaven and earth, and the brigands, for such they seemed to him. At last the muleteer was tired, and the traders continued their journey, taking with them matter for talk about the poor fellow who had been cudgelled. When he found himself alone, made another effort to rise. But if he was unable, when whole and sound, how was he to rise after being thrashed and well nigh knocked to pieces? Yet he esteemed himself fortunate, as it seemed to him that this was a regular knight-errant's mishap, and entirely he considered the fault of his horse, however battered in body as he was, to rise beyond his power. Oh, look at this pathetic little image. Look at this. He's so pathetic. Look at poor Rocinante. He's so pathetic. Oh, what a poor guy. He's just a stick. He's a stick in a tin can. He's just doing his best, guys. Just doing his best. And it's not very good. Chapter 5, in which the narrative of our knight's mishap is continued. Finding then that, in fact, he could not move, he thought himself of having recourse to his unusual remedy, which was to think of some passage in his books, and his craze brought him to his mind about Baldwin and the Marquis of Mantua, when Carlotto left him wounded on the mountainside, a story known by heart by the children, not forgotten by the young men, and lauded and even believed by the old folk. We all have days like that picture. I didn't get a good look. No! I feel like they belong in some 2005 animation software. Oh, weeks like that. Yeah. That was me after shopping today. That's why I needed my nap today. Now I am full of energy. Maybe, kinda, just about. And for all that, not a whit truer than the miracles of Baphomet. Baphomet's a demon. Baphomet is this. This seemed to him to fit exactly the case in which he found himself. So, making a show of severe suffering, he began to roll on the ground, and, with feeble breath, repeat the very words which the wounded knight of the wood was said to have uttered. "Where art thou, lady mine, that thou my sorrow dost not true? Thou canst know it, lady mine, or else thou art untrue." And so he went on with the ballad as far as the lines, "O noble Marquis of Mantua, my uncle and liege and lord." Aww, that's actually kind of cute. Rocinante could have just walked off, but Rocinante just decided to lay down and be a little bit of a pillow, and honestly, that's very cute. Rocinante! We laugh, but Rocinante's a good horse. Rocinante could have left at any moment. Rocinante could have been like, fuck this nonsense. But here is Rocinante being a good horse. As chance would have it, when he got to this line, happened to come by a peasant from his own village, a neighbour of his, who had been with a load of wheat to the mill, and he, seeing the man stretched there, came up to him and asked him who he was and what was the matter with him, that he complained so dolefully. Ah, Raymond, welcome. Rocinante, best dog. Yeah. Don Quixote was firmly persuaded that this was the Marquis of Mantua, his uncle, so the only answer he made was to go on with his ballad, in which he told the tale of his misfortune, and of the loves of the emperor's son and his wife, all exactly as the ballad sings it. The peasant stood amazed at hearing such nonsense, and relieving him of the visor, already battered into pieces by blows, he wiped his face, which was covered with dust, and as soon as he had done, he recognized him and said, "Senor Quesada!" For so he appears to have been called when he was in his senses, and not yet changed from a quiet country gentleman to a knight-errant. "Who has brought your worship to this pass?" But to all questions and other only went on with his ballad. Seeing this, the good man removed, as well as he could, his breastplate and backpiece, to see if he had any wound, but he could not perceive no blood, nor any mark whatsoever. He then contrived to raise him from the ground, and with no difficulty hoisted him up onto his ass. Hoisted him upon his ass. Nope. We mean the donkey. Which seemed to be the easiest mount for him, and collecting the arms and even the splinters of the lance, he tied them to Rocinante, and leading him by the bridle and the ass by the halter, he took the road for the village, very sad to hear what absurd stuff Don Quixote was talking. Oh, this guy's too nice. Should have just left. Oh, come on, let's go. Rocinante's a good horse. Rocinante could have left any time. I love these illustrations, they're so good. How Raymond of Twitch. I'm glad my little horse got you. My Madarante. This is Madarante, my valiant steed. He is the best horse. He'll never leave me like Rocinante. Rocinante will never leave me, and Madarante will also never leave me. There we go. Nor was Don Quixote so less, for what with blows and bruises, he could not sit upright on the ass, and from time to time he sent up sighs to heaven, so that once more he drove the peasant to ask what ailed him, and it could have been only the devil himself that put into his head the tales to match his own adventures. For now, forgetting Baldwin, he bethought himself of the Moor of Abindarens. When the accolade of the Antiquera Rodrigo de Narvaez took him prisoner and carried him away to the castle, so that when the peasant again asked him how he was and what ailed him, he gave him for reply the same words and phrases that the captive Abindarens gave to Rodrigo de Narvaez. Just as he had read the story of the Diana of It's like the J's are normally H's, right? Like jalapeno. It's not like Madarante has any choice in staying, but Madarante could go if Madarante wanted. You know, I need to show you. There's some other Madarantes here in this world. Let me just prove it to you. No, not that way. This way. Wait for. They're coming around. There you go. See? They can move. Madarante could move. Look, there's a whole horde of them. So Madarante could leave me if Madarante wanted to. There we go. But Madarante loves me, so why would Madarante leave me? Anyway, back to the book. There is cake. There's a little picnic going on in here. It's a wonderful little world. De Montemea, where it is written, applying it to his own case so aptly that the peasant went along cursing his fate that he had to listen to such a lot of nonsense. From which, however, thank you for the follow, man. Appreciate it. He came to the conclusion that his neighbour was mad, and so made all haste to reach the village to escape the weirdsomeness. Weirdsomeness. Bing! Oh my god. How long have you been a member now? Oh my god. 28 months as a member. That's forever. You've been a member forever. It's fucking crazy. Thank you so much. Thank you. You're the best. Thank you. That's crazy. You've been a member for that much. Oh, it's wearisomeness. Wearisomeness. That is also a word I know about. But thank you, no, size fan to be the beast. Of this harangue of Don Quixote's, who, at the end of it, said, Senor Don Rodrigo de Neves, your worship must know that this far Zarif I have mentioned is now the lovely lady Dulcina del Toboso, whom I have done, am doing, and will do the most famous deeds of chivalry that is this world have been seen, are to be seen, or shall ever be seen. Nobody knows yet. This is the police. Let me see your license right in the hotspot. Where did I put it? I left it at home. Sorry about that. So this peasant answered, Senor, sinner I am. Cannot your worship see that I am not Don Rodrigo de Neves, nor the Marquis of Mantua, but Pedro Alonso, your neighbour? And that your worship is neither Baldwin nor Abbot Brands, but you are the worthy gentleman, Sir Kisinada. Well, that's a ticket for $1,000? Holy shit. I didn't realize that was such a bad ticket for forgetting my rocking horse license. Welp, I'm bankrupt. I know who I am, replied Don Quixote. I know that I may not be only those I have named, but all 12 peers of France, and even all the 9 worthies, since my achievements surpass all that they have done together, and each of them on his own accord. With this talk and more of the same kind, they reached the village just as night was beginning to fall. But the peasant waited until it was a little later, that the belaboured gentleman might not be seen riding in such a miserable trim. When it was that what seemed to him the proper time, he entered the village and went to Don Quixote's house, which he found all in confusion. And there were the curate and the village barber, who were great friends of Don Quixote, and his housekeeper was saying to them in a loud voice, What does your worship think can have befallen my master, Senor Lestiente, pero pres. After jail? No. Maybe that should be the next world, a jail cell. There's definitely some VR jail cells to go into. I mean, that's where Don Quixote needs to be at this point, to be fair. No, Don Quixote needs a padded room, not a jail cell, actually. For the curate was called. It is 3 days now since anything has been seen of him, or the hark, or the buckler, lance, or armour. Miserable me! I am certain of it, and it is as true as I was born to die, that these accursed books of chivalry he has, and has got into the way of reading so constantly, have upset his reason. For now I remember having often heard him saying to himself that he would turn knight-errant and go all over the world in quest of adventures. To the devil and barbarous with such books that have brought to ruin in this way the finest understanding there was in all La Mancha. So it's kind of... I thought I needed to sneeze for a second there, but I didn't. I forgot what I was going to say. It's kind of... I don't know. I have no idea what it was, kind of. It's gone. That sentence, that thought process, that train of thought just has gone straight into a wall. Marcus Alonso, it's me. You're a neighbor. Give me back your lawn, my lawnmower. Alright, time to ship the potato off to the padded prison cell. Dementia, shut the fuck up. Dementia. Probably not important. Probably not important. I just wanted to share a thought, and then that thought just like jumped off a cliff. You cheeky one, Raymond. Cheeky. The niece said the same and more. You must know, Master Nicholas, for that was the name of the barber. It was often my uncle's way to stay 2 days and nights together poring over these unholy books of misadventures, after which he would fling the book away and snatch up his sword and fall to slashing the walls. And when he was tired out, he would say he had killed 4 giants like 4 towers, and sweat that flowed from him when he was weary, he said, was the blood of the wounds he had received in battle. And when he would drink a great jug of cold water and become calm and quiet, saying that this water was a most precious potion which the sage Esquif, a great magician and friend of his, had brought him. But I take all the blame upon myself for never having told your worships of my uncle's vagaries, and you might put a stop to them before things had come to this. Before things had come to this pass, and burned all these accursed books, for he has a great number, that richly deserve to be burned like heretics. Goodbye, King Arthur, get burned. Shut your cake hole. 4 more years to dementia. You're so rude. So rude. Oh, Noko-chan. Yeah. This is Madelante, my horsey. So say I too, said the curate, and by my faith tomorrow shall not pass without public judgment upon them. and may they be condemned to the flames, lest they lead those that rage to behave as my good friend seems to have behaved. The corrupting nonsense of books. We all read King Arthur together. Did you have delusions of becoming knight-errants after reading the King Arthur book? Did you want to take up a lance and ride across the countryside? Because I did. Maybe a little, though. Maybe I wanted to be a wonderful damsel and have the knights fight for me. maybe I wanted to be that one damsel that was like, oh, Emma, you fought for me, but I need you to go away for like 3 years and then maybe you'll be man enough for me. I would like the men to bend over that far backwards. That would be fun. All this peasant heard, and from it understood at last what was the matter with his neighbour. So he began calling aloud, "Open your worships to Signor Baldwin and Signor Marquis of Manta, who come badly wounded, and to Signor Abarins the Moor, whom the valiant Rodrigo de Neves and Alice de brings captive." Right, do you remember what happened to all the damsels in the King Arthur story? Most of them end up dead, beheaded, or worse. You're not wrong. I think Gwenny was okay, wasn't she? She nearly died, but she had Lancelot, so it was okay. When in doubt, have a Lancelot. When in doubt, have the most powerful knight in the book in your pocket. You're making me feel bad for the tea fairy. That's why she pushed all the books over in that game that came out recently. Because I've driven the tea fairies mad. Even worse, she became a nun. That's true. That is also bad. I don't really want to become a nun. Yeah, fair enough. I give up on this dream. And this is why so I don't have the dedication that Don Quixote does to his craft. All this the peasant heard, and at these words they hurried out, and when they recognised their friend, master, and uncle, who had not yet dismounted from the ass because he could not, they ran to embrace him. "Hold," said he, "for I am badly wounded throughout, through my horse's fault. Obviously. Rocinante is the best horse. I can't believe he can be so mad at his horse. Carry me to bed, and if possible, send for the wise Urganda to cure and see to my wounds." "See there! Plague on it!" cried the housekeeper. "Did not my heart tell the truth as to which foot my master went lame of? To bed with your worship at once, and we will contrive to cure you here without fetching that Urganda. A curse, I say once more, and 100 times more on those books of chivalry that have brought your worship to such a pass." They carried him to bed at once, and after searching for his wounds could find none, but he said they were all bruises from having had a severe fall with his horse Rocinante when in combat with 10 giants. They went from knight-errants to brigands to giants. The biggest and the boldest to be found on Earth. So, oh, how dare you posture check? Stop posture checking me. Let me be a shrimp. Ah! Fine. I'm straight again. I hate posture checks so much. I hate it. Hydrate. Probably should. You're right. So, said the curate, "are the giants in the dance? By the sign of the cross, I will burn them tomorrow before the day is over." Drink some water to can't let you lose your voice. True. Brownie's allergic to posture. Yeah, I am. Let me be a shrimp. Let Brownie be the hunchback of Notre Dame she wants. Yes, exactly. I don't need a good back. It's fine. Who needs a good spine anyway? They put a host of questions to Don Quixote, but his only answer to all was give him something to eat and leave him to sleep, for that was what he needed most. They did so, and the curate questioned the peasant at a great length as to how he found Don Quixote. He told him, and the nonsense he had talked when found, and on the way home, all which made the licentiate the more eager to do what he did the next day, which was to summon his friend the barber, Master Nicholas, and to go with him to Don Quixote's house. Another wonderful picture of him riding on the ass. This poor peasant did so much work. And here he is just being like, ugh, what is going on? Why am I here? Why did I do this? I mean, I guess he's a noble and he kind of needs some help, and I'm but a peasant, and if I get in the noble's good books, then I might get good stuff. Chapter 6. Of the diverting and important scrutiny which the curate and the barber made in the library of our ingenious gentleman. These chapter titles remind me of light novel titles. I feel like I should do like a small short story literally based on any chapter title from Don Quixote. And then that could be a whole light novel. Don Quixote in bed. Not in a fun way. Although it looks really weird. Oh yeah, because he's got his dragon and I guess he's like, we're seeing a bit of his fantasy land. Fascinating. Pretty. A chapter title is a novel in itself. It is. And it's wonderful. I too would like a dragon, but I do feel like it would be hard to look after. He was still sleeping, so the curate asked the niece for the keys of the room where the books, the authors of all the mischief, were, and right willingly she gave them. They all went in, the housekeeper with them, and found more than 100 volumes of big books very well bound, and some other small ones. The moment the housekeeper saw them, she turned about and ran out of the room, and came back immediately with a saucer of holy water and a sprinkler, saying, "Here, your worship, Signor Licinate, sprinkle this room. Don't let any magician don't leave any magician of the many there are in these books to bewitch us in revenge for our designs of banishing them from this world." I once wrote a short story called I Was Reincarnated in a Fantasy World as a SPAS 12 tactical shotgun. Probably should. Sounds like it would do really well. We've got reincarnated as a sword. Why not be reincarnated as a shotgun? It'd be great. You should see the chapter names in Gargantua by It's nearly Garganta, which I know is throat Garganta. Because I know a little tiny weeny bit of Spanish. And also I watched Bleach. Also the vending machine one, yes, the vending machine one. Where some waifu has to carry you around on their back. But the vending machine one seems harsh, like, because obviously it's a heavy ass vending machine. The waifu has to carry the guy around. Who doesn't want a waifu who's gonna carry you around though? Ooh, Gargantua is that one story where the giants use geese as toilet paper. What the fuck? That sounds amazing. It sounds very silly. The simplicity of the housekeeper made the listenante laugh, and he directed the barber to give him the books one by one and see that what they were about, as there might be some to be found among them that did not deserve the penalty of fire. "No," said the niece, "there is no reason for showing mercy to any of them. They have, every one of them, done mischief. Better fling them out of the window into the court and make a pile of them and set fire to them, or else carry them into the yard, and there a bonfire can be made without the smoke giving any annoyance." Sorry, while we're reading this, I'm starting to imagine what the next canto in Limbus is going to look like, and I'm just imagining the trauma of this for Limbus Don Quixote, and that hurt my soul to think of Don Quixote having her dreams burnt up like that. The housekeeper said the same, so eager were they both for the slaughter of those innocents, but the curate would not agree to it without first reading, at any rate, the titles. The first that Master Nicholas put into hands was the 4 books of Amadis of Gaul. "This seems a mysterious thing," said the curate, "for, as I have heard say, this was the first book of chivalry printed in Spain, and from this all the others derive their birth and origin. So it seems to me that we ought inexorably to condemn it to the flames, as the founder of so vile a sect." "Nay, sir," said the barber, "I too have heard say that this is the best of all the books of this kind that have been written, and so, as something singular in its line, it ought to be pardoned." "True," said the curate, "and for that reason let its life be spared for the present. Let us see that other which is next." "It is," said the barber, "the Sergus of Espelandin, the lawful son of Amadis of Gaul." "Then verily," said the curate, "the merit of the father must not be put down on the account of the son. Take it, mistress housekeeper, open the window, and fling it into the yard, and lay the foundation of a pile for the bonfire we are to make." Nimbus Don Quixote is too precious to suffer, which makes me want to see her suffer even more. I'm so nervous about the canto. I don't want Don Quixote's life to explode. I'm not ready for it. Emotionally not ready. But that's funny. It's like, oh, but this one's really cool. And it's an original. It's like, oh, okay, I guess we don't have to burn that one. We could just take it away from him. I mean, it's fine. The housekeeper obeyed with great satisfaction, and the worthy Espelandin went flying into the yard to await with all patience the fire that was in store. As much as like this is terrible, the burning of probably some very valuable books at the time, it's got to be fun just flinging things out of a window. I've watched my next door neighbor once upon a time, a long time ago, had a row with the boyfriend and did the whole like throwing shit out of the window, and I was just sitting there like, I love the drama, I'm just gonna watch, but also it's kind of fun just to throw things out the window, don't you think? Can I just do that? I'm an adult, I can just throw things out the window, right? I mean, I can't now because there's cars below it and I'll just hit the car, and I don't want to do that, but throwing things out the window, whee, it'll be fun. "Proceed," said the curate. This that comes next," said the barber, "is Amadis of Greece, and indeed I believe all those on this side are of the same Amadis lineage." "Then to the yard with the whole of them," said the curate, "for to have the burning of Queen Pintque Kinisetra and the shepherd, Daniel, and his idibidibidibir. Oops, I accidentally flipped my computer out the window. Now I'm on mobile. Smash rooms exist for that reason. That's true. I should look up a smash room. I think that would be really fun. Just once. I'm not an angry person, mostly, question mark, but I think it would be really fun. And the bedeviled and involved discourses of his author, I would burn with them the father who begot me, if he were going about in the guise of a knight-errant. I am of the same mind, said the barber. And so am I, added the niece. In that case, said the housekeeper, here, into the yard with them. They were handed to her, and as they were many of them, she spared herself the staircase and flung them down out of the window. Who is that tub there? Said the curate. This, said the barber, this is Don Olivier de Laura. The author of that book, said the curate, was the same that wrote The Garden of Flowers, and truly there was no deciding which of the two books is the more truthful, or, to put it better, the less lying. All I can say is send this one into the yard for a swaggering fool. Not an angry person, she said. Yeah, I don't believe you, Brady. The dark side is strong in you just don't know it. I am a wonderful, light side, happy, sunshine, I can't even say it. Sunshine of a person. I've never gotten angry, ever. Don't go look at my playthroughs of anything remotely difficult, ever. Don't do it. I am the happiest and most pleasant person on the planet. What are you on about? What are you on about? Sometimes you just need to toss a brick at something. But of course not. I won't understand. I just want to do it for fun. This that follows, the Floris Mate of Hikania? Those are the scariest types because when they snap, you'll see hell. Yeah! Scary! Hircania, said the barber. Senor Floris Mate. It's true, I've never seen Brownie sad, not even once. Nope, I haven't cried on stream multiple times or anything. I haven't been absolutely influenced by the sadness of streams, sadness of games. Said the curate. Then, by my faith, he must take up his quarters in the yard, in spite of his marvellous birth and visionary adventures, for the stiffness and dryness of his style deserve nothing else. Into the yard with him and the other. Mistress housekeeper! Yes, sir! Whee! With all my heart, signor. And she, said she, and executed the order with great delight, as I would too. This, said the barber, is the Night Palter. An old book that, said the curate, but I find no reason for clemency in it. Send it after the others without appeal, which was done. Another book was opened, and they saw it was entitled The Knight of the Cross. Is that not Galahad? Question mark? For the sake of the holy name this book has, said the curate, its ignorance might be excused. But then they say behind the cross there's the devil. To the fire with it! Taking down another book, the barber said, this is The Mirror of Chivalry. I know of his worship, said the curate. That is when Signor Rinaldos of Montevalon figures with his friends, the comrades greater thieves than Cacus, and the 12 peers of France with the veracious historian Turpin. However, I am not for condemning them to more than paternal banishment, because, at any rate, they have some share in the invention of the famous Matteo Bernardo, whence too the Christian poet Vicio Aristo wove his web, to whom I find him here, and speaking any language but his own. I shall show no respect whatsoever, but if he speaks his own tongue, I will put him upon my head. Well, I have him in Italian, said the barber, but I do not understand him. Nor would it be well that you should understand him, said the curate, and on that score we might have excused the captain if he had not brought him into Spain and turned him into a Castilian. He robbed him of a great deal of his natural force, and so do all those who try to turn books written in verse into another language, for with all the pains they take, and all the cleverness they show, they never can reach the level of the originals, as they were first produced. So this is an interesting argument, to be fair, and always something I think of when I'm reading like light novels and stuff, because I'm like, I bet that translated differently. The biggest one is when I was reading Magical Girl Raising Project, which I'm still reading, and it's coming back soon, and I'm so excited for the next anime. Haha. Anyway, there was a character whose magic was that she could summon stuff depending on the kanji characters, and it was so hard for that poor translator to put in the book. It was like, I can't put it in without just kind of going like, this is what the Japanese says. It was so hard. Luckily that character didn't live very long, so they didn't have to worry about it. In short, I say that this book, and all that may be found treading those French affairs, should be thrown into or deposited in some dry well, excepting one Bernardo del Capio, that is going on about, and another called Rocinvalles. For these, if they come into my hands, shall pass once into those of the housekeeper, and from hers into the fire without any reprieve. Keikaku is Japanese for plan moment. Yes, basically, that's how they had to do it, and it was rough. Her fight was a little rough, but luckily she only got the ward and then she died, so it's fine. Yay for it being a death game series. To all this, the barber gave his assent, and looked upon it as right and proper, being persuaded that the curate was so staunch to the faith and loyal to the truth that he would not for the world say anything opposed to them. Opening another book, he saw it was Palmeiran de Oliva, never before has a boys wanted it. And besides, it was called, another was called Palmeiran de England, seeing which the Lyciant said, let the olive be made fireward at once, and burned until no ashes are left alone, and let that palm of England be kept and preserved as a thing that stands alone, and let such another case be made for it as that which Alexander found among the spoils of Darius, and set aside for safekeeping of the works of the poet Homer. This book, gossip, is of authority for two reasons. First, because it is very good, and secondly, because it is said to have been written by a wise and witty king of Portugal, or the adventures at the castle of Miragorada are excellent and of admirable contrivance, and the language is polished and clear, studying and observed the style befitting the speaker, with propriety and judgment. So then, provided it seems good to you, Master Nicholas, I say let this Amadeus of Gaul be remitted the penalty of fire, and as for all the rest, let them perish without further question or inquiry. Nay, gossip, said the barber, for this I have here is the famous Don Belanis. Well, said the curate, that and the second, third, fourth parts all stand in need of a little rhubarb to purge their excess bile, and they must be cleared of all that stuff about the castle of fame and other greater affections, to which end let them be allowed the overseas term, and according as they mend, so shall mercy or justice be meted out to them. And in the meantime, gossip, do you keep them in your house, and let no one read them. With all my heart, said the barber, and not caring to tire himself with reading more books of chivalry, he told the housekeeper to take all the big ones and throw them into the yard, but was not said to one dull or deaf, but to one who enjoyed burning them more than weaving the broadest and finest web that could be, and seizing about 8 at a time, she flung them out the window. In carrying so many together, she let one fall at her feet. The barber, who took it up, curious to know whose it was, and found it said, History of the famous knight Tirante el Blanco. God bless me, the curate with a shout. Tirante el Blanco? Here, hand it over, gossip, for in it, I reckon, I have found a treasury of enjoyment and a mine of recreation. Here is Don Criles. I did think the curate knows a lot about this and is trying to save some of the books for himself. And suddenly he's got a little bit too excited. Chryselion of Montalvan, a valiant knight, and his brother Thomas of Montalvan, and the knight Ferencia, with the battle of the bold Tirante, fought with the mastiff, and the witticisms of the damsel Placidemividia, and the lovers and wiles of the widow Reposada, and the empress in love with the squire Hippolyto. In truth, gossip by right of its style is the best book in the world. Here knights eat, sleep, and die in their beds, and make their wills before dying, and a great deal more of which there is nothing in all the other books. Nevertheless, I say he who wrote it, for deliberately composing such fooleries, deserved to be sent to the galleys for life. Take it home with you and read it, and you will see what I have said is true. Don Quixote's probably been translated into many, many versions, and hilariously it has, like, a whole bit in here about how translated versions aren't as good. But hello. Yeah? Got to love? Welcome. This is like, that scene from Shaun of the Dead, where Shaun and Ed are trying to figure out which records to throw at the zombie. It kind of is, isn't it? As you will, said the barber, but what are we to do with these little books that are left? These must be not chivalry, but poetry, said the curate, and opening one he saw was the Diana of George de Montemea. Quick, burn all these books. Oh, but not this one. This is a classic. If you read in this in anything but Spanish, it's probably not as good. Yes, that is what this book has told me. And supposing all the others to be of the same sort, these, he said, do not deserve to be burned like the others, for neither do nor can they do the mischief of the books of chivalry have done,
being books of entertainment, can hurt no one. Ah, senor, said the niece, your worship had better order these to be burned as well, and the others, for it would be no wonder if, after being cured of his chivalry disorder, my uncle, by reading these, took a fancy to turn shepherd and range into the woods and fields, singing and piping, or, what would be still worse, to turn poet. Oh my, not poet, which they say is an incurable and infectious malady.
The disease of poetry.
The damsel is right, and it would be well to put this stumbling block and temptation out of our friend's way. To begin, then, with... where am I up to? Well, there we go. The Diana of Montemea. I am of the opinion that it should not be burned, but that it should be cleared of all that about the sage of Felicia and the magic water, and of almost all the longer pieces verse. Let it keep and welcome its prose and the honour of being the first book of its kind. This that comes next, said the barber, is the Diana, entitled the second part, by Salamacan, and this other has the same title, and its author Gilpolo. As for that Salamacan, replied the curate, let it go as well. Let it go to swell the number of the condemned in the yard, and let Gilpolo be preserved as if it came from Apollo himself. But get on, gossip, and make haste, for it is growing late. This book, said the barber, opening another, is the 10 books of the Fortune of Love, written by Antonio Laforenzo, a Sardinian poet. I have an agree. Awesome! Unleashed it. Yeah. By the orders I have received, said the curate, since Apollo has been Apollo, and the muses have been the muses, and poets have been poets, so droll and observed a book this has never... So droll and observed a book as this has never been written. And in its way it is the best and the most singular of all of this species that have been yet appeared. And he who has not read it may be sure he has never read what is delightful. Give it here, gossip, for I make more account of having found it than if they had given me a cassock of Florence fluff. Florence stuff. This curator's just here to steal his shit. This curator's like, oh, but I like this one. I'm keeping this one. Give it. Give it here. I don't trust him. I also love the, like, not many people are actually getting names in this book at all. We've got Don Quixote that isn't even his real name. We know his real name, but we don't use it. Then everyone else is just the barber, the niece, the curate, the peasant. It's quite cool, actually. He put it aside with extreme satisfaction, and the barber went on. These that come next are the shepherds of Ibrea, nymphs of Heranes, and the enlightenment of jealousy. Then all we have to do, said the curate, is to hand them over to the secular arm of the housekeeper, and ask me not why, or we shall never have done. Now these bastards, oh, I could go on forever about these ones. Just give them to the housekeeper, not worth talking about. Next is Pastor di Fidelia. No, pastor that, said the curate, but a highly polished courtier. Let it be preserved as a precious jewel. This one here, said the barber, is called the Treasury of Various Poems. If there were not so many of them, said the curate, they would be more relished. This book must be wedded and cleansed of certain vulgarities, which it has with its excellences. Let it be preserved, because the author is a friend of mine, and out of respect for other more heroic and loftier works than he has been written. This, continued the barber, is Cancionero de Lopez of Lopez del Malestan McDonald's. Maldonado. That sounds like saying McDonald's in a Japanese accent. McDonaldo. Maldonaldo. The author of that book too, said the curate, is a great friend of mine, and his verses from his own mouth are admiration of all who hear them. For such is the sweetness of his voice that he enchants when he chants them. It gives rather too much of his Ronald McDonald McDonald Sanchan. It gives rather too much of his eloquence. But what is good was never yet plentiful. Let me keep with those that have been set apart. But what book is that next? The Galatea of Miguel de Cervantes. The McDonald's Night and the Lady Wendy's, said the barber. That Cervantes has been for many years a great friend of mine too. Oh, suddenly he knows a lot of these. Like, yes, yep, I know the author, and it would be very disrespectful for me to burn it. Give it here. His huge stack of books leaving with a grin on his face. Yes, it's for his own good. Yes. I get a whole new set of books that are probably very expensive in this day and age. Very, very expensive books. This is a lot of money they're probably burning at this point. Oh, 1 second. I need to blow my nose. Wow. Burn all of the heretic books, though. Not that one. Or that. You know what? Just shift them all to me, and I'll sort it out later. Yeah, that's the vibe. I'm kidding. All the books they're looking are actually real, I think. I think many of them are, yeah. I'd be curious to, like, take all of these lists and just nose through. '16 era book were probably big enough to kill a guy with a little Probably. They definitely killed Don Quixote's sanity. That Cervantes has been for many years a great friend of mine, and to my knowledge he has more experience in reverses than verses. His book has some good invention in it. It presents us with something, but brings nothing to a conclusion. We must wait for a second part, it promises. Perhaps with an amendment it may succeed in winning the full measure of grace that it is now denied. And in the meantime, do you, Signor Gossip, keep it shut up in your own quarters. Very good, said the barber. And here there come three together in the Arcuena of Don Alonso de Erquilla, the Ostradia of Juan Rufo, Justice of Cordova, and Monserrate del Cristobal de Veces, the Valentinian poet. I do apologize for all the butchering I have done today of all these words. These three books, said the curate, are the best that have been written in Castilian heroic verse, and they may compare with the most famous of Italy. Let them be preserved as the richest treasures of poetry that Spain possesses. The curate was tired and would not look into any more books, so he decided that contents uncertified and the rest should be burned. But just then the barber held open one called Tears of Angelica. "I should have shed tears myself," said the curate when he heard the title. "I had ordered that book to be burned, for its author was one of the famous poets of the world, not to say of Spain, but was very happy in the translation of some of Ovid's fables." Oh, there she goes, having the time of her life burning these books. At least someone's happy. And it is most certainly the housekeeper. Burning books, burning books, burning books. We better not let the library guardian know that well, he knows that there's books about burning books, I guess. But I think he'll get a bit antsy if we talk about burning books too much. Burn the evil books, burn the knowledge, we must be dumb. Chapter 7 of the second sally of our worthy knight Don Quixote of La Mancha. Those are very long barbecue tongues, you're right. I don't know what this image is yet, because I feel like we haven't got there yet. But there's stuff happening! I don't need help to be dumb. That's good. You're just that good. You have a talent! It's just being called talented. At this instant, Don Quixote began shouting, "Here, here, valiant knights! Here is need of you to put forth the might of your strong arms, for they of the court are gaining the mastery in the tourney." Called away by this noise and outcry, they proceeded no farther with the scrutiny of the remaining books, and so it is brought that the Quiote, the Lion of Spain, and the deeds of the Emperor written by Don Luis de Alva went to the fire unseen and unheard, for no doubt they were among those that remained, and perhaps if the curate had seen them, they would not have undergone such a severe sentence. Rip. My teacher said the same, or was it failure? You'll find a talent. Maybe your talent just isn't academic. It's okay. School is kind of a thing that forces you into a box, and then if you're not the kind of person who fits in that box, then it's kind of difficult to feel like you have worth, but you do. I can breathe. Does that count? That's a talent. You can breathe, but you'll find something else. You'll find stuff that you're good at, or you enjoy, and you'll get there. You'll get somewhere. When they reached Don Quixote, he was already out of bed, and was still shouting and raving and slashing and cutting all around, as wide awake as if he never slept. They closed in with him by great force and got him back to bed, and when he had become a little calmer, addressed the curate and said to him, Of a truth, Signor Archbishop Turpin, it is a great disgrace for us, who call ourselves the 12 peers, so carelessly to allow the knights of the court to gain the victory in the tourney. We are adventurers, having carried off the honour on the 3 former days. Hush, gossip, said the curate. Please God, the luck may turn, and what is it? What is lost today may be won tomorrow. For the present, let your worship have care of your health, for it seems that you are over fatigued, if not badly wounded. Wounded, no, said Don Quixote, but bruised and battered, no doubt. But bruised and battered, no doubt, for that bastard Don Roland has cudgelled me with his trunk of an oak tree, and all for envy, because he sees that I alone rival him in his achievements. But I should not call myself Ronaldo de Montalvan, did he not pay me for it, in spite of all his enchantments. As soon as I rise from this bed, for the present let them bring me something to eat, for that, I feel, is what will be more to my purpose, and leave it to me to avenge myself. Time travels to save Don Quixote. Don Quixote, I'm here to help you. ¿Qué? Why? He doesn't need help. He's a knight of great achievement. Of course he doesn't need your help. They did as he wished. They gave him something to eat, and once more he fell asleep, leaving them marvelling at his madness. That night the housekeeper burned to ashes all the books that were in the yard, and in the whole house, and some must have been consumed that deserved preservation in everlasting archives, but their fate and the laziness of the examiner did not permit it. And so in them was verified the proverb that the innocent suffer for the guilty. Sancho Panza is the only help the great Don Quixote needs. I can't wait to meet Sancho. I'm coming into this, and I don't actually know that much about Don Quixote, other than the Limbus Company, other than he's a delusional old man. So I know nothing of Sancho, and I'm so curious to find out about Sancho. One of the remedies which the curate and the barber immediately applied to their friend's disorder was to wall up and plaster the room where the books were, so that when he got up, he should not find them. Possibly the cause being removed, the effect might cease. They wish. I think it's a bit late for that. If they'd done that maybe like 10 years ago, maybe. Oh gosh. Wow. Sancho, best boy Panza. I love a best boy. I find it ironic that one of the most famous and influential books in all of history is basically making fun of a book, aka the main audience for books ever. Absolutely. And like I said, it's made fun of translations. I'm reading a translation. It's made fun of anyone who likes to daydream about being in books. It's making fun of literally. It's like the South Park of a book. But everyone's like, oh, this is funny. Is it laughing at me? Yes. Do I care? No. Brandy, they're walling up the library. Sure. You have a personal investment in libraries and they're being forbidden. I don't know what you're talking about. South Park of books. It is! It's insulting everyone equally. But I do. That means that's gonna become part of the Forbidden Life now. Making fun of nerds. A pastime older than Steve. Absolutely. And no one makes fun of nerds better than other nerds. That's why we get nerds rage debates and stuff. We love arguing with each other as nerds. Just happens. Where was I up to? Oh yeah. And they might say that a magician had carried them off, room and all, and this was done with all dispatch. 2 days later, Don Quixote got up, and the first thing he did was go and look at his books, and not finding the room where he had left it, he wandered from side to side, looking for it. He came to the place where the door used to be, and tried with his hands, and turned and twisted his eyes in every direction without saying a word. But after a good while he asked his housekeeper whereabouts the room that held his books. The housekeeper, who had been already well instructed in what she was to say, said, What room or what nothing is it that your worship is looking for? There are neither room nor books in this house now, for the devil himself has carried all away. It was not the devil, said the niece, but a magician who came on a cloud one night, after the day your worship left this, and dismounting from a serpent that he rode, he entered the room, and what he did there I know not. But after a little while he made off, flying through the roof, and left the house full of smoke. And when we went to see what he had done, we saw neither book nor room. But we remember very well, the housekeeper and I, that on leaving the old villain said in a loud voice that but a private grudge he owed the owner of the books and the room. He had done mischief in that house that would be discovered by and by. He said, too, that his name was Sage Munaton.
Why are they playing into it if they want to cure him?
He must have said Friston, said Don Quixote. I don't know whether he called himself Friston or Fritten, said the housekeeper. I only know that his name ended with a ton.
Also, Cervantes was a vet. Dude fought at Lepanto and lost a hand. Damn! And yet became a classical famous author. Just couldn't come from anywhere, can't it? Who's the bigger nerd? The nerd or the nerd who creates the modern novel to insult the other nerd? Out-nerding the nerds. So it does, said Don Quixote. And he is a sage magician, a great enemy of mine, who has a spite against me because he knows by his arts and lore that in process of time I am to engage in single combat with a knight whom he befriends, and that I am to conquer, and he will be unable to prevent it. And for this reason he endeavours to do me all the ill turns that he can. But I promise him it will never be hard for him to oppose or avoid what is decreed by heaven.
Who doubts that? Said the niece. But uncle, who mixes you up in these quarrels? Would it not be better to remain at peace in your own house instead of roaming the world looking for better bread than ever came of wheat, never reflecting that many may go for wool and come back shorn?
Oh, niece of mine, replied Don Quixote, how much astray art thou in thy reckoning? Ere they shear me, I shall have plucked away and stripped off the beards of all who dare touch only a tip of a hair of mine. The two were unwilling to make any further answer, as they saw that his anger was kindling. In short, then, he remained at home 15 days quietly, without showing any signs of desire to take up with his former delusions. And during this time he held lively discussion with his two gossips, the curate and the barber, on the point he maintained that knight-errants were what the world stood most in need of, and that in him was to be accomplished in the revelry of a knight-errant. The curate sometimes contradicted him, sometimes agreed with him, for if he had not observed this precaution, he would have been unable to bring him to reason. Being schizophrenic during those times must have been a blast. Absolutely. You were probably possessed by the devil, probably had some nonsense going on with the church, might have been just taken by the church, because it was the only way to cure him. Oh no. I don't know. Probably would have sucked. Absolutely sucked. Meanwhile, Don Quixote worked upon a farm labourer, a neighbour of his, an honest man. Indeed, that title can be given to him who is poor, but with very little wit in his paste. In a word, he so talked him over,
and with such persuasions and promises, that the poor clown made up his mind to sally forth with him and serve as his esquire. Manager Esquire! Don Quixote, among other things, told him that he ought to be ready to go with him gladly, because any moment an adventure might occur, win an island in the twinkling of an eye, and leave him governor of it. On these and like promises, Sancho Panza, for so the labourer was called, left his wife and children and engaged himself as esquire to his neighbour. We pray 5 times a day and he's still crazy. Holy shit. Up the dose to 12. Up the dose to 12 and make him chug holy water. Sancho, my good friend. We found him. We found the best boy. He's small. But Don is kind of tall and lanky, isn't he? So. There we go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Da da da. Don Quixote next set about getting some money and selling one thing and pawning another, and making a bad bargain in every case. He got together a fair sum, and provided himself with a buckler, which he begged as a loan from a friend, and restoring his battered helmet as he could, he warned his squire Sancho of the day and hour he meant to set out. I estimate Sancho Panza to be 1.8 to 2 brownies tall. How many brownies does that make Don Quixote? Above all, he charged him to take the effulgence with him. The other said he would, and that he meant to take also a very good ass, as he was not much given to going on foot. About the ass, Don Quixote hesitated a little, trying whether he could to call to mind any knight errant, taking with him an esquire mounted on ass-back. But no instance occurred in his memory. For all that, however, he determined to take him, intending to furnish him with a more honourable mount when a chance presented itself. By appropriating the horse of the first discourteous knight he encountered. Himself he provided with shirts and such other things as he could, according to the advice the host had given him, all which being done without taking leave, Sancho Panza of his wife and children, or Don Quixote of his housekeeper and niece, they sallied forth unseen by anybody from the village one night, and made such good way in the course of it that by daylight they held themselves safe from discovery, even should search be made of them. Don Quixote is about 3 to 3.4 brownies tall. Or at least 3 brownies tall. Understood, that's quite tall. That is very tall. Sancho rode on his ass like a patriarch, with his effulgence and boater, and longing to see himself soon governor of the island his master had promised him. Don Quixote decided upon taking the same route and road he had taken on his first journey, that over the Campo del Montel, which he travelled with less discomfort than the last occasion, for as it was early morning, and the rays of sun fell on them obliquely, the heat did not distress them. And now, said Sancho Panza to his master, your worship will take care, Senor errant knight, not to forget about the island you promised me, for be it ever so big, I'll be equal to govern in it. Don Sancho fans making fan cams. What's their theme song? What's their fan cam song? To which Don Quixote replied, thou must know, friend Sancho Panza, that it was a practice very much in vogue with knight-errant of old to make their squires governors of the islands or kingdoms they won, and I am determined that there shall be no failure on my part in so liberal a custom. On the contrary, I mean to improve upon it, for they sometimes, and perhaps most frequently, waited until their squires were old, and when they had had enough of service and hard days and worse nights, they gave them some title or other of count, or, at the most, marquis, of some valley or province, more or less. But if thou livest and I live, it may well be that before 6 days are over, I may have won some kingdom that has others dependent on it, which will be just the thing to enable thee to be crowned king of one of them. Nor needest thou count this wonderful, for things and chances to fall to the lot of such knights, in ways so unexampled and unexpected that I might easily give thee even more than I promised thee. Oh my. Poor Sancho. I don't know any good fancam songs. I'm just gonna say A March of the Saint by Arvid Saint. Surely it would be No More Heroes by the Stranglers, but only because that's the only song I know of that names Sancho Panza. I mean, yeah, I'll have to do it. But names them specifically, it's gotta go on there. In that case, said Sancho Panza, if I should become king by one of those miracles your worship speaks of, even Juana Gutierrez, my old woman, would come be queen, and my children infantes. Well, who doubts it? I doubt it, replied Sancho Panza, because, for my part, I am persuaded that through God should shower down kingdoms upon the earth, not one of them would be fit the head of Mari Gutierrez. Let me tell you, senor, she is not worth 2 Maldives for a queen. Countess would fit her better, and that only with God's help. Leave it to God, Sancho, replied Don Quixote, for he will give her what suits her best. But do not undervalue thyself, so much as to come to be content with anything less than being governor of a province. I will not, senor, answered Sancho, especially as I have a man of such quality for a master in your worship, who will know how to give me all that will be suitable for me that I can bear. Yeah, I assumed it meant like princes and princesses. Mago del Oz is the fancam song. Molias of the Vinta. Wonderful. What is this? They're trying to like sweep away his like dreams of knights and stuff. Oh, that's cool. Sweep away all his fantasies. Sweep it under the rug. It's not working though. He's out again. Don Quixote got out again. There's probably gonna be a murder again. These dudes about to go in Harold and Kumar type adventure. Exactly. Chapter 8. Give me a drink before I read this. The song translates to windmills. Fascinating. Of good fortune, in which the valiant Don Quixote had, in the terrible and unremit of adventure of the windmills. Speaking of windmills, with other occurrences worthy to be fitly recorded. I love these chapter titles. They're so good. Adventure of the Windmills. This is what we're going on to now. Ooh, look at him. He looks so valiant. At this point, they came in sight of 30 or 40 windmills that there are on that plain, and as soon as Don Quixote saw them, he said to his squire, "Fortune is arranging matters for us better than we could have shaped our desires ourselves. For look there, friend Sancho Panza, where 30 or more monstrous giants present themselves, all of whom are meant to engage in battle." The chapter titles are like STG. I should just copy and paste one into like my titles next time. If we can stop at like the start of a chapter, or at least maybe the next chapter, in which concluded and finished the terrific battle between the gallant Bisian and the Vach. They're so good. I love them. Anyway, we got some spoils there. Hell yeah. This is like the Don Quixote equivalent with the Infinity Train. Choo choo, motherfucker. Whom I mean to engage in battle and slay, and with whose spoils we shall make our fortunes for this righteous warfare. And it is God's good service to sweep so evil a breed from the face of the earth. What giants? Said Sancho Panza. Those thou seest there, answered his master, with the long arms, and some have nearly 2 leagues, some of them nearly 2 leagues long. Look, your worship, answered Sancho, what we see there are not giants, but windmills. And what seem to be their arms are the sails that are turned by the wind to make the mills go. It is easy to see, replied Don Quixote, that thou art not used to this business of adventure. Those are giants, and if thou art afraid, away with thee out of this, and betake thyself to prayer, while I engage them in fierce and unequal combat. In which the gallant and totally not bald Bridie Smith did sit upon her rocking horse, and righteously and verily did read classic literature. Perfect! That is the chapter title of my Sunday streams. So saying, he gave spur to his steed Rocinante, heedless of the cries his squire Sancho sent after him, warning him that most certainly they were windmills and not giants, and thank you so much for subscribing. Brody the person? Brody the person. A person? Holy shit. Such a rare breed. Definitely not a windmill. Away with thee, and break thyself with prayer is my new replacement for effort. And not giants he was going to attack. He, however, was so positive that they were giants that he neither heard the cries of Sancho, nor perceived, near as he was, that they were but anything, but made at them shouting, "Fly not, cowards and vile beings, for a single knight attacks you!" Of how Bryony Rose Smith started her stream to continue with her reading, and how she read multiple chapters of the beautiful novel, and the great enjoyment of this course of 5 years. Ah, now that one's just flattery. Oh, flatterers. A slight breeze at this moment sprang up, and the great sails began to move, seeing which Don Quixote exclaimed, "Though ye flourish more arms than the giant Briareus, nearly Bryony, Briareus, ye have to reckon with me." So saying, and commending himself with all his heart to his lady Dulcinea, imploring her to support him in such peril, with lance in rest, and covered by his buckler, he charged at Rocinante's fullest gallop, and fell upon the first mill that stood in front of him. But as he drove his lance point into the sail, The wind whirled and rounded with such force that it shivered his lance into pieces, sweeping with it horse and rider, who went rolling over on the plain. In a sorry condition, Sancho hastened to his assistance as fast as his ass could go. And when he came up, he found himself unable to move, which such a shock had Rocinante fallen victim. Rocinante, no! We love you, Rocinante! Brianis Roselio Smith. In which Bryony reads book to fully understand her Korean fanfic games. Correct. There's a whole dispute about what Cervantes meant. Lanzaderist. That's fun. Sancho be twerking as fast as possible to help. He is! He's twerking all the way over! Oh my gosh! What a fearsome windmill he has found himself against. Oh no! What an epic blow against him! That's a really cool picture though. Such a fun action bit. God bless me, said Sancho. Did I not tell your worship to mind what you were about? For they were only windmills, and no one could have made any mistake about it but one who had something of the same kind of head. Hush, friend Sancho, replied Don Quixote, for fortunes of war more than any other are liable to frequent fluctuations, and moreover, I think, and it is the truth, that the same sage Friston who carried off my study and books has turned these giants into mills in order to rob me of my glory of vanquishing them. Such is the enmity he bears me. But in the end, his wicked arts will avail but little against my good sword. Oh, Don. I have but concluded a revision of a prior chapter, having overlooked a detail, which did cause several lamentable breaches in the narrative. I am wearied. I trust you shall not object if I lend an ear once more whilst I repose mine eyes. That is fair. You take a chill, Dobble, you take a chill. Glad you're making book progress. Making the windmill arm look like a dragon's wing is a nice touch. I know, so good. 17th century of a quick equivalent of it was a pig, I swear it! I love these pictures, they're so good. Oh lordy. Bringing it, twerking his ass over, look at him. These are so good. I love these illustrations. Why don't normal modern books have illustrations, bro? Because that's just fun. This is why I like light novels. You at least get some pictures. But look at this beautiful nonsense we get here. It's the best. Don Quixote is like, these edibles ain't shit. Correct. All books should have pictures, yes. Whether they be diagrams or illustrations. All books should have pictures. I don't know why we started frowning on that. People need to grow up and accept pictures. God order it as he may, said Sancho Panza, helping him to rise, got him up again on Rocinante, whose shoulder was half out, and then, discussing the late adventure, they followed the road to Puerto Lapis, for there, said Don Quixote, they could not fail to find adventures in abundance and variety. That horse does need an entire Burger King, or a glue factory, but mostly an entire Burger King. Yeah, Rocinante is struggles. Rocinante is suffering. as it was a great thoroughfare. For all that, he was much grieved at the loss of his lance, saying so to his squire, he added, I remember having read how Spanish knight Diego Perez de Vargas, by name, having broken his sword in battle, tore from an oak so ponderous stick or branch, and wit it did such things that day, and pounded so many moors that he got the surname Mature. And he and his descendants from that day forth were called Vargas de Mature. Bow. You mean stick. It's a stick. Golden stick. I mentioned this because from the first oak I see, I mean to render such another branch, large and stout like that, with which I am determined and resolved to do such deeds that thou mayest deem thyself very fortunate in being found worthy to come and see them, and be an eye-witness of things that will with difficulty be believed. Hunts. I would like to have a quick Quixote with the drawings of by door. I have a Gargantua in Portugal with drawings done by door. But while the Quixote ones look badass, the giants in Gargantua look like big fat babies, like Titans from Attack on Titan. It doth so occur that mine scribbling hours and thy stream oft coincide. I suppose I must needs make adjustments to mine bodily timepiece anon, that I might tarry and converse more, and not merely like no, doppel. I appreciate that you want to get my streams, but just prioritize your life. I don't plan on like ever stopping streaming for a very, very long time. So if you prioritize your life and your book, then that's okay. You catch me when you can catch me. I'm not going anywhere. I will have streams on the same days for a very long time. At least that's my plan. You should most certainly prioritize your book and your life, and don't worry too much about adjusting from moi. I can't believe Samantha has just copied Attack on Titan. Oh gosh, has it been 2 hours already? Did Brian just say really catch me outside? It was no, I don't plan on graduating or anything anytime soon. Like, sometimes my streams have to be adjusted. Obviously, like, there was a time when I used to do, like, 5 streams a week. Because I had time. I don't have that time anymore. And there is potentially going to be a time soon when I'm going to have to adjust the time of one of the streams. But that's in the future. And that future keeps falling away at the moment. But life be lifing. But I plan on trying to keep streaming in my life for a long time. Whether it be adjusted or whether breaks happen, but streaming will not stop. Bryony is way too old to graduate. If she stops, it's called retirement. Fuck you. I'm just using the kids' slang. It will definitely be retirement. No, I plan on streaming till I'm like forever. I like streaming. Streaming is great. I have a good time. I enjoy hanging out with you guys. I enjoy reading books with you guys. Because finding time to read books is hard. Like, in life. So, it's very fun that we do get some time. Some dedicated time for at least 2 hours a week to read a book. And we enjoy you and reading. Yeah, I'm glad you do. I'm very glad that my streaming has been somewhat successful enough for you guys to enjoy it so much. And for me to be able to come around, have like pretty regular chat, and it's lovely. It's lovely. I'm so grateful for how my streamings have done. I do have some bad news though. After all that, you know. Because it's been 2 hours already. Like, what the heck? Wait, we're meant to be enjoying these streams? No, Benjamin. You're here because I forced you to be, obviously. Post-nuclear wasteland, you can still find the potato on local radio stations reading old half-burned books. And making up the endings, I would, definitely. We love cute, not bold. An older lady who reads books and plays video games. We are here at gunpoint. Yes. Guns. Oh wait. I know what guns you're here with. Let me get it. One second. How do I get out of this again? Oh. Let me grab it. One second. Aha! There we go. That's how I get out of that. Here's the gun. Thank you everyone for coming to today's stream. Thank you everyone in chat. Thank you everyone who looked. Thank you everyone watches the VOD. I really appreciate you coming. As you have seen by my small gooey moment, have some bees. If you have not already, I would highly appreciate it if you could leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you've done that, go on Twitch. Go like that one as well. If you've done that, go to Discord, join that. And if you've done that, then bees. Then I wrote books. I've written like 4 books. Go read them. Brandy Rose Smith. Give it a Google. You'll find some books about a superhero girl who has no powers, but she's a badass, and it's cool and fun. And I had a good time writing it, and I want to write more, and I'm trying to write more, and I'm doing my goddamn best. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're gonna start a new game tomorrow. We're starting pre-Odyssey. We're gonna play an ultimate dating sim between Odysseus and Penelope. And there's ducks in it. I'm so excited to play it. I bought it ages ago and I'm only just getting a chance to play it. I wish I could stream more so I could play more of the games that I have stored up. Because so many of them are like, I'm going to save that for stream. I'm going to save that for stream. I'm going to save that for stream. But no. Anyway, yeah, that's a complaint for some other time. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Ducks in my green packet. Yeah! Duck, goose. Duck, goodbye. Duck. I had fun. I hope you had fun. This has been Brandy Smith, live in the library. Goodbye, periodicals! Bye-bye!